Emma Watson once said, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be who I really am. I'm going to figure out what that is. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerdy Optometrist, a podcast channel for all things optometry. And this is your host, Ukti Vora. I'm so excited to be leading this conversation and talk with all these women who I admire in many ways. What could be a better way to celebrate International Women's Day than to speak to these amazing leaders as we talk about leading the way forward? And these women have broken barriers, they have taken unconventional paths, they have built communities in extraordinary ways and across the borders. Many of you already know who they are and they need no introduction. But to add a little more context to what they have done, let me quickly introduce themselves. It's a pleasure to introduce, I think, for the third time on this podcast, Dr. Jameel Rizwana Hussaindeen, who I've already known for over a decade. Trust me, I've counted that. She goes by the alias Rizwana. With lots of love, we call her Riz as well. She currently heads the Rivoli Vision Academy at the Rivoli Vision UAE to lead the strategic planning and functioning of the academy. She has been working towards the advocacy of optometry to be established as an independent eye care profession in the country. She has been recently conferred as one of the 2020 world's top 100 doctors uh, for notable contribution to the healthcare professions. And as part of the 300 interdisciplinary community of doctors belonging to dentistry, pharmacy, optometry, and general medicine, selected from over 100 countries. She's the first clinical diplomate from India in the section of binocular vision, perception, and pediatric optometry of the American Academy of Optometry, and currently the president of the AAO India chapter. She's also serving as a consultant for the IAPB and an adjunct faculty in Sankara Netralaya, Chennai. This is just a short summary of all that she's achieved. And I don't know how she's done that. And that's why I call her the superpower woman. Thank you so much, Riz, for being part of this podcast.
Thank you, Ukti. Highly appreciate that.
Our next guest is Miss Nguyen An Tran, who is the first optometrist in Vietnam. Yes, I am so inspired, but just listening to this sentence, the minute I heard it, I knew she has to be on this channel. She received her Bachelor of Optometry at Bausch and Lomb School of Optometry, India in 2013. Subsequently, in 2015, she had graduated from Melbourne University with her master's degree. Together with local partners, she developed the first optometry course in Vietnam. Since 2014, she has been working as a key lecturer in the Department of Ophthalmology and Optometry at Hanoi Medical University and a clinician in Vietnam National Institute of Ophthalmology. Besides academia, she enjoys working with patients in the public and private sectors. Ms. Nguyen is pioneering and advocating for optometry in Vietnam. She has spoken in many major conferences in Vietnam and other countries representing optometry. In 2019, for her contribution to optometry in Vietnam, she is awarded Eye Health Hero by the IAPB organization. She definitely is a hero who requires a lot of kudos. So thank you so much for being part of this podcast and this episode. A warm welcome to you.
Thank you, Oti, and thanks for your kind words.
Well, Dr. Maria Sampalis, again, someone who has been with Nerdy Optometrist from early on. This is her third episode with me, and I'm super excited. Every time I start talking about her, I cannot stop thanking her for how her support was when we actually started and I was new in the country. So she's definitely someone I really adored. Dr. Sampalis graduated from New England College of Optometry in 2007. She's the founder of Corporate Optometry on Facebook, which has over 30,000 members. She's definitely a global leader. Her social media network reaches over 60,000 eye care professionals. I don't know how she manages it. I get nervous only if I see the numbers in thousands. She was Young OD of the Year in Rhode Island in 2016, Vision Monday's Influential Women in Optometry in 2019, the World Council of Optometry Eye Care Hero 2020, Dr. Sampalis practices in Rhode Island. She's a consultant and a speaker on various companies in the industry. Yes, she is the hero as well. Thank you, Dr. Sampalis, for your time and a warm welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Another hero of the industry, Dr. Carissa. She graduated in 2002 from State University of New York, College of Optometry. Dr. Lee brought over 20 years of hospital-based and private practice optometry experience to her Johnson & Johnson Vision position. Prior to joining Johnson & Johnson Vision, Dr. Lee opened a private practice in California, spoke to doctors across the country as a professional affairs consultant, and served as program director at the Johnson & Johnson Institute. In her role now leading to the professional group, Dr. Lee oversees J&J Vision Care's support of professional advocacy, education, and relations, and serves on the Northern American leadership team. She's a strong supporter of allyship, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dr. Lee is also a proud member of AOA, a fellow of American Academy of Optometry, and recently has completed an MBA. When do you guys have time? It's a challenge for me, and I really need to discuss all of that into this episode. But before we get into the discussion, a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here amongst these very powerful women and influential women.
Absolutely. I'm sure everybody can say from my voice, I'm actually nervous because I don't know if I'll be able to do justice to this entire episode with this power-packed women out here, but I'm here to be inspired. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to see how we all together, whether it's men, women, we can all make a difference. So if I fumble, if I hesitate, if it's visible on my voice, and I do apologize in advance, but I'm super excited. So before we get into the episode, I would like to give a huge shout out to two of my supporters for the episode. And they both are from, the companies which are led by women as well. So I'm happy to share and give a huge shout out to Eily, which is the all-in-one app that leverages technology to instantly enhance the skill set of every eye care professional. It really helps you future-proof your practice with automation. And Nano Dropper, which is the first of its kind eye drop bottle adapter that reduces medication waste and saves eye care professionals and patients money. The Nano adapter just like easily fits on any multi-purpose bottles, which can reduce the drop size by 70%. A huge shout out and thank you to both these organizations for supporting this episode. And with that, I'm going to dive into my first question. And I'll start with Dr. Carissa Lee. I really want to know, why did you choose this path in your career?
That's a funny question to me because being an optometrist, actually, when I was a little girl, wasn't something that I dreamed about being from the time that I was young. So in my career, I don't think I had a straight path. So I had a very meandering path. And even when you think about where I sit today, so I sit in as an optometrist within one of the largest healthcare companies. When I was in optometry school, I didn't even think that was a possibility as a career path. So where I am sitting right now today, it was really around what I was passionate about doing and what I was curious about and how I followed that pathway. So I love people who set goals out there and achieve them and go get that position that they want. It just wasn't the career pathway that I followed. And I'll say I followed probably my heart more than my head, but love what I'm doing right now.
Oh my God, it's so nice to hear that you had no goals, but you are where you are. Sometimes we feel that, oh my God, I have no plan. I don't know what exactly I'm doing. And I have two people who have witnessed me fumbling and getting lost in my career, both Dr. Riz and Dr. Sampalis. They both have seen my course saying, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So it's glad to know that, it's not all set stone. We all might not have plans, but if you follow your heart, you will reach where you are. Thanks for sharing that. Miss Mian, tell me how did you choose this career path and how did you land where you are?
So it's so nice to hear from Carissa that, she didn't plan to become an optometrist at the beginning. I, on the other hand, was born and brought up in a medical family. So both of my parents are doctor, and my mother is actually a pediatric ophthalmologist who, so inspirational that she just, forced me into optometry way. Oh, you need to do that because it's gonna be good. And to be frank, at the beginning, I tried to escape. And, as a typical Asian, I don't know, Vietnamese, while listening to mother and father at that time, I was like, okay, let's do it for 1 year. And if I didn't do well, then you let me go and try another thing. I end up in India. Of course, they never remember that promise, and they never gonna make that promise anyway. But that turned out so well. I love the optometric course over there. I love the part that I actually work with patients. Of course, I do have a lot of problem there, but still, it was a good time thinking back of that. And yes, yeah, you just don't know whether it's gonna suit you, but you just try. And I just want to give it a try, and I really like it by the end. Yeah, so my mother was an inspirational. She's Eastern, very good model for me to follow. But yeah, I think that optometry has chosen me instead of me choosing it.
That's such a wonderful thing from you not wanting to get into optometry. Now you're advocating optometry and representing Vietnam in optometry. I think that's huge. Talking about Asian parents, I totally relate to it. We definitely have a lot of say. We definitely don't have a lot of say. It's usually our parents who like, just give it a try. And then you're like, okay, do I have an option here? And usually the answer is no. But I'm glad you bumped, you tried, you loved it, and you're doing what you're doing in Vietnam. And we definitely would like to know more about the stories as we proceed in this episode. Going to Dr. Sampalis, I want to know, why did we start corporate optometry and why all of this? You already have a successful practice. Tell me, why did you choose to create this part in your career?
Sure. Let me just say that my parents, how I got into optometry, my parents were immigrants and from Greece. So we kind of just said, hey, we want you to go to college. We want you to be educated. We didn't have the opportunity. So I ended up going to Northeastern undergrad, and somebody told me about optometry. And so I ended up shadowing someone nearby, and I ended up liking it. Fun fact, which I look back now, which I thought was kind of crazy, was I only applied to one optometry school. So if I didn't get in, this all wouldn't happen. And it's funny because your career is zigzags, right? It's like it never is what you plan. I am a planner, but it never really works that way, right? I mean, the things that have happened that have been really successful for me have been outside the plan, by accident sometimes, things like that. And I think it's the path that you were set to do. So when I came out of school, I wanted to have my own practice. Like, that was my thing. I wanted to have my own business. So I went around, I saw who was selling a practice, didn't come out that way, right? So I said, I've been out a few years now. I haven't had an opportunity. There's a sublease opportunity. I'm going to take it. I want to do it. And at that point, I was actually pregnant with my youngest. So people were like, but I was like, hey, I want this. I know what I want to do. So I'm going to try it. So I ended up taking a sublease. And at that time, it was Sears Optical. And getting started, there wasn't any resources out there. So I'm there, I'm thriving, I'm doing well. I'm driving the business. I finally realized that the doctor was a key component within that optical setting because it was a different brand compared to other brands. So I gained some confidence, and then just looking for information out there, I didn't find any. So I ended up starting corporate optometry from there, and got a great reaction. I would have thought it's going to grow to this big. No, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, yeah, I knew, and all. It doesn't have, it grew. It's an authentic, we present good things that are good for the doctors, ended up, providing practice management resources and things like that. And it's really grown to that. And for me, it's been very fulfilling to help doctors understand the setting, pros and cons, and how they can grow a successful practice, and also help with the image of corporate optometrists in the industry, and help advocate for them to do things that they weren't able to do before. So I'm proud of that. And then, it's grown tremendously over the years. And for me, it's been very fulfilling to be able to talk to docs and say, and have them come back and say, hey, Maria, thank you so much. You got me an extra $10,000 in my salary or something like that. So for me, it's been that, to be able to give back and, help doctors, because when I was in that situation, I had no one to kind of reach out to help. So that's how I kind of got into it. And it's been by accident. A lot of things have been kind of not how they were supposed to be. And, but it's been a fun ride.
It's so hard to believe, ladies, when you say it was an accident. We didn't plan. We are here. I'm like, you guys have done so much. Like, how can it not be planned? Like, but I really understand that when you guys say that, we just knew what we want to do, or we found gaps, and whatever we did with 100% of our intention. And I think that's what contributes to where you are today. Last but not least, our favorite Riz. Do let us know, how did you choose your career path, and how did you end up in UAE from India?
When I hear from these ladies, what's amazing is that though all our paths look so divergent, actually it's pretty much convergent in terms of like taking up these uncertainties as opportunities, and then sort of jumping in, believing that that's going to give us the best. That's the route that I took, I would say, because like I was the first graduate in my family, and usually it's always sort of, it's like it's by default. By when you are like by 15, you're already married and settled. I mean, that's the conservative family that I come from. So I had to sort of fight to find my way out, to get educated. And then, then when I got into optometry school, I said, I'm not going to leave this opportunity. And so it was always a very ferocious journey, I would say. Like, I wanted to move next, go next, go next, go next. I was always behind, what next. And of course, the other side to it is that I ended up burning out, and the other part of this over aspiring, overachieving the female tendencies. But having said that, as everyone sort of embraced these uncertainties, if someone had asked me like 5 years before, would you take a position in a corporate as in the leadership role, I would be like, oh no, definitely not. I mean, I'm not the person, because I was working for a not-for-profit organization for almost 15 years, and at one point I felt that I've reached that comfort zone. I mean, like, I've grown, and like, this famous yes curve developed by Dr. Rogers, you just keep growing and you sort of enjoy the growth, and then you move to the top and there is nowhere to go, and you have to disrupt yourself and come back again to the scratch and then start doing something again. And so I realized that it's time for me to disrupt. And when you always put in a seed to the universe sort of conspires, helps you to achieve. And that's what I'm like, I just put in the intention saying, now it's time to move ahead, but I do not have a damn clue as where I want to go. But I have these brilliant dreams, but I want to be sort of like, represent women, because I definitely knew that then we need to speak up, we need to stand up for ourselves. And that's when the CEO of Rivoli Vision sort of like, I was headhunted and I was just called in for an interview, and I took the opportunity. And though I didn't understand a little bit of what really happens within the corporate culture, I believed that sort of I'm going to explore, I'm going to understand this, and I'm going to do my level best. And the worst thing that could happen is I might fail, but even then I will end up learning something that will again help me to move to the next step. So with that, I took up this particular position as the head of Rivoli Vision Academy. And I'm now here in the UAE, like it's my fourth month, and I should say that so far the journey has been amazing.
That's wonderful and inspiring. I'm so happy to hear your story. And at the same time, I really like how you said, what is the worst that will happen? I'll fail. It's a very bold statement to say so casually, to be honest, because we're all scared of failure. We don't want to fail. But that might also not give us an opportunity of to trying something new, trying something different. And thanks to you and our conversation in a previous discussion and an episode, which actually led to this episode. She's like, Ukti, I had no clue. I come from academia. That's what I've been doing all my life. Trust me, while in conference, I was hanging out and chilling. She was sitting in the room and studying. Like we were sharing the room. She's my mentor. She's studying and I'm chilling. I'm like, okay. So she comes from that academic background, and she decided to go to corporate. I'm like, okay, the challenges are different, but I would like to talk about it. I'm like, okay, let's get you and everybody else on an episode and discuss it. So thanks to her that I was able to get all these wonderful people on the channel. So thank you once again for sharing your journey. Now, going back to, we did discuss, like, you all had not planned, it all happened, but definitely it isn't something that was a cakewalk. You all had your challenges. So I wanted to start talking about the major challenges or the hardship that you had during your journey. I would want to start with Ms. Nian, because, starting optometry in Vietnam, where people don't even know what optometry is. I would like to know, what are your major struggles?
Yeah, I think that it was a very bold move for me to actually be in optometry, but then I didn't know about that until I complete all and then go back home and realize that there is no optometry in Vietnam at all. So we were part of the program to develop the optometry in Vietnam, to develop the refractive service in Vietnam. And then at that time, many non-government organizations help us to develop the program. And they decided they would fund a couple of people from Vietnam to go overseas and to learn about optometry and bring back them to become key people to develop the program in Vietnam. So I thought that I was just part of the plan, I'd just be with the flow. But then go back home and then I realized that, wow, it's not just as simple. I had to sit down and, alongside with them, write out the whole program, the whole curriculum. Whereas I'm just a graduate. I do not know whether I can do it. I was just a graduate from the school, and then the head of the university, the head of the ophthalmology department just hand over the program and say, hey, Ming, you need to revise this, you need to review this, and you need to write it. And I was like, me, myself, I just complete a bachelor degree. Are you sure I can do it? And I was just, amazed, because people trust me. People just think that I can do it. And then I just do it. I just start to write and then edit it and then read from others and learn at the same time. And until now, I think that I'm still learning every day by teaching my younger generation of optometry, by fighting alongside with them, by advocate for optometry in Vietnam. And we have been in this journey since 2013. That is when I graduated. But then they have been in this program all together since the day that they sent me over to do the, to do the bachelor. And they are my NGOs, the HMU, the Hanoi Medical University, the head of the program, and everyone here. And I was very happy that I am the one, sitting alongside with them and be the key person to change all of that and actually to create an impact to change everything that is happening right now in Vietnam. So last year in 2021, we finally have the job title of optometrist in Vietnam. So people is aware about optometrist right now, but there's still a long way to go, and it's just a beginning. We still need to have a registration, the license, the board, everything is up to to be set up. And frankly speaking, we are learning how to create it. And we are very lucky, because at the beginning, you do not know whether it's right or wrong. You just do it. If it's correct, it's move on. If it's not correct, do it again. So, you just said you are very afraid of failure, but then when you do not know and we can't define failure, then just do it, right? You never know.
I think that's such an inspiring story. Like, just do it. And like, you being just a fresh graduate, trying to sit down and write a curriculum. I don't even know what I was doing when I graduated. Probably trying to find a job, and I was struggling in that. And here you are defining a curriculum, trying to create awareness about optometry in Vietnam, sitting with people who are already, established in ophthalmology, trying to put up a curriculum. I think that's incredible. And I really loved how you mentioned that, you try it. If it's good, great. If it's wrong, do it again. It's a very simple statement, but we always overlook the power of failure or trying. I think both these things does not get enough credit. And I sometimes if failure is taken or seen, not sometimes, I would say majority of the time failure is always taken as, oh my god, this is negative, how can I have failure on my resume? But if you turn that into your learnings, you definitely can do a lot more. So talking about challenges, I also know all of you ladies had amazing challenges in your career. Dr. Sampalis, tell me more about your challenges from a small office that you have, and now you're now trying to help 60,000 eye care professionals in the corporate world. How has that challenge been?
Yeah, I mean, every step of my career, there's been different challenges, right? So the Sears closed, they didn't have an opportunity with the sublease. I had to open a new practice in 2 weeks, did it, and it's just dedication, it's motivation. What do you want to do? What is your purpose, right? So my purpose, hey, I always wanted my own. And then what happened was I was, kind of trugging along doing that. And recently just, had a doctor retire and bought his practice. We just renovated the building. And now I'm like, hey, what else can what's my next project? Like my office manager's like, you seem bored, so so doing all that. But I also have a sublease now with Warby Parker as well. I mean, so it's just keeping busy. It's doing that, but I'm learning so much, right? So each step of my career, even if there's been failure, closure, even if there wasn't busy at the office, you learn from it. You learn the next step, you learn the next thing. So everything was a step. Within corporate optometry, the way it started, there wasn't any fans at the beginning, right? It wasn't anything in the industry. It wasn't a thing. And it's really grown, and there's been failure along the way. And I kind of, as you're kind of presenting articles, I wanted to write for different magazines on the topic, and it wasn't there at the beginning. So I said, okay, I'm just going to do my own and see what happens. And it's grown. And then they come back. But for me, I learn from the failures. I think people that take steps and fail are going to be the most successful instead of people that just fail and stop. You're always going to learn from that. And being persistent and dedicated. If you're determined and you want something, or you're passionate about something, it'll come. So just kind of learning from it and seeing the success. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's building blocks. It's little steps that you take over the years, and you do that. And by doing that, you also get mentally tough. And so when the hard situations come about, you're able to handle them. And you're able to have a growth mindset, and that growth mindset really helps you, take that next step and think big and be able to say your opinion on what you want, even if everyone else is, against it or doesn't agree with you. And I think that's okay. And I think that's important in optometry to present different ideas and do that instead of everyone saying the same thing, and being afraid of, doing something wrong. So failure, I think, is a key component to success, and just following what you believe in and what you want to do. And sometimes it's just paving your own path, that, it hasn't been there before, and it's going to be tougher, but the best rewards are the hardest things that you do. And it's also harder to kind of be taken down or be opposed on if something took harder for you to build for someone else. So for me, it's that dedication, that passion, and what the goal was for me in the industry.
I think that's wonderful that you need to be persistent, and I really like how you explained the power of failure. And if you have built with such a struggle or hardship or with such a belief, it's definitely very difficult to put you down or get away with any negativity, which will definitely come along with something that you're trying to build of your own. And I'll dig deeper into those conversations. But before we go there, Riz, tell us more about your challenges.
My challenges are no different from the other influential women here on board. I would be very generic here. I mean, my challenge basically is to be able to believe in my own self, my own strength, that my voice has the power. I've always underestimated me in the sense like, oh, what am I really going to do in this space where there are these established leaders, especially men, and who are much elder to me, and also who have had enormous amount of experience. Do I really have something to contribute? I mean, this imposter syndrome just sets in quite often for me, and it's always been difficult to break that up. Sort of like, okay, I have to pause every now and then and like, no, it's time to speak up. I mean, you have to sort of open up. And so to be able to believe in the power of my own voice, my own strength, and the way I've been able to do it, of course, I will be kind with my own self as well. But sometimes being this empathetic person where you really do not want to hurt everybody, right? So you just want to be like sort of kind, and you say, okay, and I'll hold on to my sort of opinions. And at some point, I'm like, no, I mean, this is my, I mean, I think my head is not going to blow off if I'm not going to just sort of speak this out. But as I started to express my opinions, then I really realized it mattered, and they are really very sensible, and in the sense it's not it's not nonsense, as I would just sort of be thinking within my own head. So it's basically like, many times we set our expectations very lower, and then we see ourselves in the, like, under a very dim light. So it's to first believe in the power of our own voice, and also to believe that we have these unique capabilities. Like, we are definitely much more emotionally mature, and we can bring in a uh, lot of attributes, lot of qualities to the conversation, to the anything for that matter. So I think this forum, this current position has really given me that opportunity to dive more deeper into my own strengths, and to be able to break these boundaries and to be able to speak up for my own self. I mean, that's been my greatest challenge, and I think I'm sort of taking baby steps every single day.
I think that's wonderful because yes, it can be challenging. And I really like, I had actually heard this recently where it is important not to reject yourself before even putting yourself out. So I think mentally we just feel, oh, you know what, I'm not good at it, or I'm not worth it, I won't be able to do it. We just reject ourselves before even trying, or before anyone else has rejected or said anything to us. And I think it's important to believe in ourselves. And I think you've brought up a very important point, which I'm sure a lot of us do struggle, irrespective of the gender. We do need to believe in our voice and what we can bring onto the table. So thank you for bringing that up. Dr. Lee, tell us about your major challenges.
Well, I just have to say, I feel like this is, these women have such, the words that they are saying ring true for me as well. And I feel like this is a great therapy session where we're all sharing our these challenges and how we rose above them. And what I think about, I agree with wholeheartedly with everything that these wise women have said, because it is about, for me, about what you think you need to be or what perfection is, but it really is about growth. Right. So it's not about being perfect. It's about the experiences and the learnings and the growth that you have with each failure, because failure really is inevitable. We're never going to be like, we see perfection or what we think is perfection. And I'll say social media is out there, right? And you think, oh, wow, they have a perfect life. They have perfect family. But then behind the scenes, it's chaos, right? So, I will say one of the biggest challenges for me, thinking about my career in general, was about the expectations I had as what I should be as a wife and a mother, and then what I should be as like doing my job and kind of trying to juggle all of that and not letting anything kind of fall. And so, I will say I had my moments where I was like, how am I going to do this? But I think that's when you have to, I had I think we talked about this before, I had something that I kind of dubbed mommy guilt, like especially when my kids were young and I was traveling. And I was like, I'm supposed to be in my head, the PTA mom, the mom that like bakes the cookies for school and is on top of everything. And I had to, in some sense, let that go and let my husband take over as a dad, right? I mean, sometimes at least in the culture here, you think moms do everything, but in reality, dads are just as big a part of my kid's life as I am. And so I had to be okay with having him put them to bed and cooking them dinner, or letting, they would have ice cream for dinner. And I had to be okay with that because, nobody's getting hurt, everybody's happy. And then also being able to, what I found solace in was that I could be a really great role model. I have 2 sons, and I could be a really great role model for them by pursuing what I love to do, being successful in what I do outside of the home, and being okay with that. So, the challenge was for me, like finding balance and being okay with letting things kind of fall, but also knowing that it's about growth and it's about giving 100% wherever you are, right? So when I'm at home, I've got to be very conscious about, not doing work things and turning off my phone. Or when I'm at work, it's like, don't worry about the fact that you're not at the bake sale. Like, it's okay. So that was one of the biggest challenges. And, I still have my moments there too, where I'm like, I don't want to miss the soccer game or the football game, but sometimes when we're traveling, you got to let dad take over.
I think that's wonderful. Thanks for bringing it, because that was going to be my follow-up question about what we had discussed earlier about the mommy guilt. Apart from you all being aspiring, inspirational women, you all share something in common: is you all are moms. Some have 2, some have 1. I have none, but I still get stressed. So talking about mommy guilt, I want others to talk about it, because though you are from a different part of the world, we are still, I could think in my head, are still facing the same struggles. So tell me, Miss Mian, what are your thoughts? You have a tiny baby. Like, how are you kind of even managing it?
Yeah, I'm completely, going on with Carissa stories, and I was just being, soothed down by Rizwana and Carissa that it will just be a day, like that, and then they will turn 10, 14. And I have to tell you that don't trust them yet. Every day is a day, and every day is a new day. And every day will not go with your plan at all when you have kids. Yeah, but then I really enjoy it. I enjoy being moms, and I enjoy each and every day with them, because with her right now, just one. I of course plan to have more, but right now I don't even know whether I can handle one. So, before getting pregnant, I was like, I want to have 3 kids, and now I have to reconsider that idea for at least 1 more year, and then I rethink about that. But yes, we have 6-month maternal leave in Vietnam, and I know it's already a precious compared to many other countries, because many other will just have 4 months, many other will just have less than that. But then I have 6 months, and I still going back to work with me. It's just chaotic. I was so worried what happened at home. Is everything going to be all right? Did I miss anything with my baby? This is my first child. And, I always thought that I would need to spend more time with her, why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that. But then, yes, we need to be present. And I really like the idea that Carissa just said, that we need to be 100% with the thing that we right now having. So at this very moment, it's 8:52. She's up there with her daddy, and she will be screaming my name, of course, or screaming mama, of course, and waiting for me to go upstairs and try to soothe her to sleep. But I know that she's gonna be all right, because I have a role model as well. My parents my father has been taking care of me for my mother to work in my family. Both of my parents are working, but then because my mother is an ophthalmologist, so then she's extremely busy with her work and everything. So then my father was the one who taking care of two of us. I have an elder sister who's an ophthalmologist too, but at that time she was just a little girl. So then, I learned that, well, parents and then husband and we have other people to help and support us as well, so then you can give them that. Right now I have a caregiver to support me, and because both of us had to work from home, but then and I have to travel outside to work as well, and he had to go up and down. We have some helper to support us, and we just have to wish for the best and then be present with the current work that we are doing. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I'm so inspired. Like, and I really see how your parents actually led you to a path that it's okay. That I think what you see as you grow really inspires your kids as well. So it's not just always being present with them will change the destiny or the future, but it also what you do can be a way how you're contributing and inspiring them. And I feel that's a very important thing to get away from a mommy guilt, because I can imagine how difficult it would be for everyone to leave the kids or miss out on those moments where you're like, oh my god, am I ever going to see that again? But you're still impacting your kids as they grow. Dr. Sampalis, I've seen you even bringing your daughter into your office. I've seen you making her videos about her, so she contributes to to what you're trying to do as well. So tell me about your work-life balance and how do you get away with your mommy guilt?
Sure. So in my family, my mother was a stay-home mom. My husband's family, stay-home mom. So that mentality, stay-home mom, was, we got married, was there, right? So when I've been with my husband for almost 20 years now, and for me, it's always what I wanted to do. So we have to work with your partner, and if it's good for the family, right? So we work together for this common goal, and our common goal is our kids, right? So I have an opportunity to excel and do this. In the past, when they were younger, it didn't make a difference if it was dinner or breakfast, right? We did time together. So I'm like, okay, if it's Saturday, we had Saturday morning breakfast together. We did something in the morning. It's more work on you. You're tired, right? But you're doing it. And you plan, you can plan around it. You plan, your schedule and that. And from my perspective, it's a lifestyle, right? It's your kids understand it. It's part of your life. It's who you are. It's what it is. And I think I'm setting a good example, right? So they're learning, they're coming to my office, pre-COVID, before they were too little anyways, but they would do, I'd have the little one do like, some of the 1,500 forms, they write it out and stuff. So keep them busy. But even now, like when I took over this office, the doctor was still doing, it was paper charts. We had to convert it to electronic, but we had to send some postcards out. So they would put the stamps on and just see, but to see what it's like to be part of it and do that. But once we get home, we kind of shut it down. If I have to do something else within corporate optometry or something like that, blogs, or so to practice their reading skills, we can kind of do that together. We can read the blogs together and do that and kind of incorporate it. But I think they're learning life lessons. They're learning leadership skills. They're learning how to fail, that it's okay, and how to get back up. They're having an example of what a female should be doing in the industry, in the life, instead of just being a stay-home mom, if that's what they want. I mean, it all depends what they want. What success is like, how to manage money. I think so. This is all life lessons, and I think that's important, so they can kind of see that. And it has been difficult, and they do have that guilt. But like Carissa said, everyone's happy, healthy. They're doing okay. Today's a snow day here. We're hanging out after this. And we do vacations and around. So I can, because I work for myself now, I can plan my schedules and how I want it to be. So if there is a basketball game now, I can do that. I can plan my schedule, do that. If I know that, March is busy because it's conferences and things like that, we understand, we do that. Maybe we take vacations in February or do it later. So we kind of go around that lifestyle thing. And it's been good to have the support to be able to do that, because my husband is a big supporter, and I have family support as well to do that. So
I think that's wonderful. I really like how you trick your kids into doing things as well as, training them, because that's the way what you want to teach, right? You want to teach them leadership. You want to teach them how to work, and you also want to inspire them to do things. So I really loved how you said, oh, I'll read an article, I'll ask them to read a book, and then, okay, yeah, we are working, but they don't know you're working. I love that trick.
Yeah, one of the bad things is you kind of teach them certain things. So you say, how negotiating skills, and then they kind of use it on you, and you're like, no. So it's good to do that. And I think to be involved, to see that, so it's easier later on in life.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Riz, tell us more about your how are you getting away with mommy guilt, especially you being away from India? You are currently in UAE and your kids are back in India. How are you managing it?
Yeah, so mommy guilt is always, I think, part and parcel of every woman's life. I think life journey, I guess. But I should thank my mom because she really understood that that the aspirations I had, that I'm like really aspirational, and my happiness is really very important for the entire family and this next set of women that are looking at me. So the vision that we have is pretty huge, and she sees the need to support me. So first I should really give a big shout out to my mother and my dad. I mean, because they are doing all the work that I'm supposed to be doing, and they're taking care, and that gives me a lot of peace, because that there are these people that are now taking care of your kids. But having said that, mommy guilt, of course, would come in because you're not doing your job, that whatever it is. But I'm trying to sort of work it out together along with my boys. So at different points, at different life points in the lifetime of a child, I mean, the expectation sort of keeps shifting, right? Like when you have a kid like Mena, of course, your sleep cycle sort of goes all over the place, and you have to now, because that's when they are picking up on their essential skills. And so your role is really very crucial, and I'm glad that I really spent a lot of time during those crucial early years of development with both of my kids. Of course, I was also pursuing I would say, like, my first son was like my master's project, the second was my PhD project, so it's like both of them grew as part of my my career as well. But I also ensured that I gave time to them when they needed me the most, and I sort of like spend time. But as I became more mature in life, I realized that sometimes, yes, you will not be able to spend time when some of the priorities take up. I mean, there's literally the word balance is so illusory, in the sense that you never sort of like, you will be able to achieve that. It's just that you do one thing at the compromise of the other stuff. And so I realized it, and then one day, I mean, it's like not one day, many times now, I sit with my boys, like we really have these long conversations, just talking about how our days are going, how our weeks have been going. And thanks to technology and all these Google chats and the FaceTime and all the stuff, so the moment they come back from home, they just text me asking, how is your day going? And then I reply back saying, this is how it is. And then weekends, we will decide what we want to watch together. We share screen, and then I sit here at the UAE and they sit there, and then we just watch movies and whatever. And then we just laugh out loud. That's how we are catching up now. But what I have, I should say that I'm really proud about at this point of time, is that both my boys have really understood the value of supporting a woman in the process. I mean, because I don't know, thank God, like, because maybe we've spoken about it directly, indirectly, but I sort of sought their help. Literally, like a 10-year-old, I don't know what he understood, did not, but I asked him for support. I said, I need your support at this point, and I'm doing this, and this is going to help our family. This is going to help me. This is going to help you. And this is how we, should be traveling together. But I'm always out there, like 3 hours flight. I'm always out there whenever you guys need me. And so we've had this conversation, and the elder brother is more or less like the father figure. So he's now, the 15-year-old is taking care of the 10-year, and they both hang out very well. And then we do a lot of these technology-based chats, and we do a lot of deep conversations. We do a lot of book reading together. I enroll them into a book club. and then we did book reading together. So whatever little time that we could spend, I focus more on the quality than the quantity. So whatever little time, it's like in depth, and I'm there, like totally present with them. Rest of the time, I'm totally present wherever I am, and I have to sort of accept it as this this woman with sort of a lot of aspirations ahead. Yeah.
I think that is wonderful. And I really loved how you mentioned it's important to have quality time than quantity time. And there are hacks and ways. It's all about your, your intention. If you intend to spend quality time, if you intend to, make things work around along with your aspirations or along with what you want to do, is also important, because say if you are with your kids all the time, but if you're not happy, right, I'm not sure how it would really be beneficial, because it will come out some or the other way that I'm not doing this because of you, I'm not doing this because of that, right? So if you are happy, it always translates into what you're trying to do with the kids and the overall emotional and atmosphere as well. And a huge shout out to all your family members, who are being a huge advocate. I'm sure without them it would be a struggle, and I wish everybody gets such family partners who will support your dream and your aspirations, because it's really important. Another thing that I really want to learn is how should we increase this women representation in leadership? Because we know what the struggles are, we know, what are the challenges, but not everybody is even aspiring or thinking about, becoming a leader. There's a lot of fear, a lot of guilt, a lot of hesitation that is surrounded. And not just in I get overall, there is a very low percentage of women representation in leadership roles. So from you ladies, I would like to know, what are your thoughts of what can we do to inspire and bring more women in the leadership roles? Dr. Lee, tell me more about what are your thoughts of how can we increase that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and self-reflection. I think it's about being candid. So, some of the things that we're sharing here, being very honest and almost vulnerable, and being honest with like, hey, it's not perfect. We all have failures. We've all gone through challenges, and how can you help other women specifically through these challenges and see them as opportunities? I loved what Riz said about being like disrupting yourself, because I think that's also something that as women, sometimes they don't see that discomfort or what they have to go through as that they can do it, that they can actually get through it. So it's also making sure that we can encourage and be mentors to other women around us to say, hey, you can do it. It's going to be hard. Like, let's be clear. It's going to be uncomfortable at times, but we can all lift each other up and encourage each other, because at some point, somebody else has gone through something similar, and failure it's going to happen, but we have to embrace it and think about it as growth. And so I do think it's about being candid, encouraging others. I almost feel like as women, other people see what's in us before we do sometimes. And so it's about reassuring them that it's like, you can do it. I don't know if I do think it is a gender thing. And I think it's just happens from the time that we're really little, about pleasing other people or the appearance of being perfect on the outside. And so I think by being candid with each other, that's really not what happens every day, right? That's not true reality, that we can lift each other up.
I think that's wonderful. I really like how you said, nothing is perfect. We need to believe in self. And, it's all about giving a shot. And yes, others do pick that up, but how can you push your boundaries and reinvent yourself and be okay whether it has worked or whether it was a failure? You'll at least have a good story to share that, hey, you know what, I did this. And I think another very important thing is, I hope this episode really helps and inspires others but we need to realize we all pretty much go to very similar struggles. So have your group of confidence. It could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be people in your professional, circle, someone who will always be there when you doubt yourself or when you fail or when you struggle, that will help you kind of bounce back and be stronger than earlier. So I really appreciate that. Mian, tell me more about what are your tips and tricks that you would say as to, add more women in the leadership roles.
Yeah, I think this is a very tough question. It's not an easy question, and it's not something that one person can solve. I think it's also start with the mentor, with the thought of how females who pursue their career as well, and how females would be, to be in that decision or decision maker of their own life, whether they want to be a leader, whether they are giving all the opportunity to become a leader. So I think that should start from the culture of the organization as well. So if we think that our organization have given an equal opportunity to both men and women, whether we haven't done that or we still having an inequality to female and male, whether we still showing a discrimination between male and female voices in the same conference room, or whether we have been treated them equality. I don't know whether it's happened in your country yet. In Vietnam, sometimes when people say about gender inequity or inequality, they think that there is no such thing, because like we can speak our thoughts and people listen to it. But actually, when you are in the conversation, well, when we are in the argument in the conference or in the meeting, we feel like the voice of female is usually being underestimated, and we feel like we do not have enough people to support us as well. I don't know whether you have that toxic environment where female hates female people, but female hates female and bad talk and bad mouthing about each other. So I think that is also something that we have to change that at the beginning from our organization itself. So for myself personally, what can I do is I do not do that, right? So I will encourage people to female and male. I give them equal opportunity to go ahead, and I respect them, and I nurture them, and I give them the opportunity to grow. And I be a model of a good leader, or being a good example, I would say that. So something like that, I would be personally be myself. But I think in the whole, people need to have a system to look at that, and we need to have people who support us and sit together, and we do it as a movement to help to increase the number of the female leaders.
I really loved how you just so comfortably and easily said that, we'll have to be a leader, we have to do a certain thing or behave in a certain way, give equal opportunity. But that's a huge responsibility overall, which I have to say many organizations also fail or struggles. But I really like how you simply are putting it out there that be yourself and be authentic and have a clear intention in mind. So if you have this clarity of intention, things will automatically fall in place, that I want to do it right, I want to give equal opportunity. If those are your genuine beliefs, I'm sure things will fall in place. But I have to say there are many established organizations which might also struggle in that at times. So I really appreciate you bringing that point up. Yes, it is equally important at an organizational level to support and have an equal opportunities irrespective of the gender. I completely believe that. Dr. Sampalis, what are your tips and tricks on being a leader or adding more female leaders?
Yeah, so I think if you want to be a female, if you want to be a female leader, it is up to you. And sometimes you don't even know it, right? Like Dr. Lee said, someone believes in you, brings it out in you, and the light bulb goes off, right? And so you have that. So I think there's different ways to approach it. First, you have to want to do it. You have to kind of be, there's a lot of resources out there for personal development and to grow. So like Women in Optometry magazine has inspiring articles. There's organizations like Optometry Divas, Optical Women's Association. They give you a lot of advice. You can see people in leadership positions, and that way you could be there. And the way that I see it was, hey, what do I want to do in 5 years? And what do I want to do in 10 years? And I want to get a mentor for that. And I want different mentors, right? And you do want a man too, to get a different perspective and how they got there and what they did. And that's important. But I did write an article for Women in Optometry magazine a couple of months ago. And it was, yeah, mentor's great, but a sponsorship is even better. A sponsor is even better. And what a mentor is, helps you with the career trajectory, gives you advice, but it can only get you so far, right? A sponsor is someone who has authority within a company that says, hey, oh, Sampalis, she's doing great things. You know, let's bring her up. Let's see what we can do together. Let's see what we can build together. And that's when you have that, when you do that, you build people up, bring people up with you when you do that. And when I started doing that, and I started doing that article, I was like, oh, you don't realize it. I have a large network. I can bring people up now. So started doing, Facebook Lives with a lot of different females in the industry, inspiring females, trying to get their name out there, giving them a spotlight, encouraging them. Because off screen, you talk to them and there's like a lot of hurdles, a lot of struggles. But after they do that, they feel empowered. They want to do it. They want to do more. And then you say to them, hey, yeah, I had the same struggles. And they were like, really? It looks so easy, So I think it's that, and giving that advice and doing that. Now, on gender inequality, I have some data now, because I'm going to be doing a lecture with Wu University on gender inequalities. So I have the data, and the more I dig in, the more it's there. It's large. And in the UK, it's so large that the UK passed a law on gender pay gap. And what happened was, what you see with leadership roles, there was gender pay gap, but even leadership roles averaged about 30% female, where 70% male. So there's that gap there. And then it was also bonus structure that the data presented. And the same thing here in the US, it comes out to about the same, right? And some interesting data that came out that I found, just in overall, 4% of CEOs are female, right? Yeah. There isn't a lot of female board directors, right? So I think sometimes to get up there, it's hard because you don't see it, right? You don't have someone out there that you can aspire to and look up to, right? So those are things that I think a lot of people have those barriers on. But, we're ready to break that glass ceiling to get there and do all those things. So it's just, kind of going out there, and then even going to conferences, right? So just talking to people, you feel like ready to go after you go to the conference. Like, you have a good meeting, you meet so many people, everyone's so nice. Like, you feel like, you can't go up to people, but everybody wants to chat, everybody wants to talk, everybody wants to hear, and, throw in a couple of drinks and everything's great, So so these are all things, like, you can get that, and you get that motivation, and you kind of move on, you make those connections. And I like you said, you have sponsors. I've had a lot of success with working with females in the industry, because they kind of understand and they do that. And but as you grow, you build people up with you. And I think that's the way to kind of build that in optometry, as we look to, expand and grow. I mean, I think 69% of the graduating class is female now, but the leadership is still the same. And it's in different, some sectors are more female than others, but they're not, they say, hey, we have female vice president, whatever. But I said, they're not decision makers, guys. They're not decision makers. They need to be decision makers, because it affects, right? If the graduating class is 70% female, we need someone that can relate to those females coming out to say, oh, they told me in school I should just be employed. It's hard. But hey, I mean, Sampalis is doing it. Someone else is doing it. Maybe I can do it and be successful and have that balance, per se. Because I always said that you will work less if you have your own practice and kind of balance all that. That was my mentality, my thing. Everyone's a little different. But if they're not seeing that out there, what they're to do, then it changes the industry, right? It changes different aspects. And I think that practice setting kind of affects a lot of different things, like products, vendors, things like that. So I think, and females should be empowered to want to make these decisions, to want to have leadership roles, whether it's in a private practice, within a corporate setting, industry, academia. It was just recently, I think, with the AOA, that we had a president that was female. So, I mean, it took some time to do that, but everyone's breaking barriers in different segments and bringing people up. And I think we still have a lot of work to do, but in my part, for me, it's kind of just doing these podcasts, trying to empower them, and trying to spotlight them when I can now.
Absolutely. I think it's also important not to be too hard to yourself. I think what we do, as whenever we are in a leadership or any decision making role, I feel we do beat ourselves down too much because we have to constantly prove ourselves. I think you did bring up a lot of good points of believing in yourself and bringing more women, or like growing together. I think that will help support each other, and just constantly do what you believe in. And that's true. Like if I don't see people like women like yourselves, I might also struggle because I'm only seeing men making decisions. And then if I have to raise my voice or say, make an opinion, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to listen to me. Like am I even worth it? Like you start questioning to that level. But if I see all of you doing what you're doing, I'm like, I think I can do it. I can at least try to do it. I think that's a wonderful start of trying to have more female in these kind of roles. Riz, I know we have discussed this offline, that how you also had your struggles of being like the only women amongst all these older men and like trying to make these decisions. Tell me, what are your thoughts of how can we increase this women representation?
Like what we are doing currently. I mean, I think this is how we should start. This is how we should, I think this is the way forward, Ukti. I mean, when one woman, I think, speaks up for herself, I think she's speaking up for everybody else. I mean, this is how I think this journey, I mean, it's already started in a very, very impactful way, I guess. Like as Dr. Maria was telling, what an irony is this? Like when majority of the graduates are women, where are these
Yeah.
women sitting? And then when you really look at the management, only 3% of women are in the C-suite top management. And so where are they? I think it's to do with us as well, because I think we sort of, give excuses. Sometimes we tell stories that are not really true. I mean, we sort of like, we believe in these stories that we buy from other people, saying either we are not capable, or we are not eligible, or we do not have the talents that's required. So we sort of buy in these stories and we start to believe in them. And then even if an opportunity, for example, knocks at our door, we sort of look at these excuses and sort of like take a step back and say, no, I'm not going to take this. It's going to be too much on me. So I think the first thing is really look at the stories that we're telling to our own self. Is it really true? Or is it that something that we bought from somebody, which is not really going to help us, definitely in the long run? And as much I mean, of course, there's nobody, like, it's not that men are pulling women down, or there's, when I really look at what's happening at these management levels, I also see that there are problems with our own self. Like, I mean, we have to also support other women as how we are doing, right? So we also have to stand up for our fellow colleagues who are women. When we see something that's happening, we have to like sort of like hold their hands together and say, okay, come, let's do this together. I think that's our moral responsibility, I would say, because that's how we can grow our community. And all these researchers point out to the fact that women make excellent leaders, because we have this we can bring in so much of balance to the table. So I just asked my CEO today afternoon, telling him that I'm going to be representing in this podcast, and would you like to give me any words of wisdom? Like, how did they end up selecting me like as the only woman on board? And he said, I did see that the empathy, the compassion, the gentleness within you, that can really bring in a lot of change to this the current crew. That's quite aggressive, definitely, but I think the gentleness that you bring in can change the perspective to the business, and I really needed it, he said. And then he also told me that the story, I mean, that because as I just was sharing that I'm the first graduate and things like that, how you can really use the power of your story to inspire others, and also to sort of make an impact in your own career. I mean, accept your own vulnerabilities, and do not feel ashamed to share your stories if that's going to really, really help you grow in your career. If you don't really give voice to your own sort of story, then who is going to give voice? So please share your stories if that can create an impact. And I think that's how many changes have come out in areas of, I think, in many other areas where women, in terms of being abused or whatever it is. I mean, these stories really sort of brought out some of these things that has to come out to the limelight. So that's what I would say. Women definitely make good leaders. So let us all believe in it. Let us all believe in the fact that we have the power within our own self, and let's support each other in this journey, and let's just give voice to our own stories, and take pride in the journey that we've come so far. And there's a long way to go, and we will do it together in a very stylish yet gentle compassionate way.
Yeah, I'm just going to take one line from what you just said, and I'm going to stick it like, yeah, women, as women, we do make amazing leaders, and I'm going to kind of print it out for myself so that you start believing in what you see. So I think we did discuss a lot about the ups and downs. We're going to now go to a fun segment, which I want to play with all of you. So let's not talk about leadership or worry about it. Let's also show that we do have fun as well. So it's a simple game, this or that. I'm going to give you two options. You have to choose what you all like. Okay, it's a very, very simple game. So I'll go I'll start with Riz, then Dr. Sampalis, Mian, and Dr. Lee. So we'll go in that route. Riz, dog or cat?
I'm more tense now, but cat.
Okay, Dr. Sampalis, dog or cat?
Dog.
All right, Mian.
Cat.
All right, Dr. Lee.
Dog.
Okay, so we have two dogs to cat. I am just scared of pets, period. That's me. I love them, but they need to be at least 2 feet away from me. So that's me. Okay, phone call or text? Riz.
Phone call.
Okay, as Dr. Sampalis?
Text.
Okay, Mian?
Text.
All right, Dr. Lee?
Phone.
Phone, awesome. All right. I feel it depends on the day where I am. If my mood is bad, I would go text.
I want to add a little asterisk at the end. It depends on who it is.
Conditions apply.
All right. So people do know that text certain people and call certain people.
Yes.
All right. Our favorite question. This is my favorite question. I'll again start. We'll go in the same circle. Laundry or dishes?
You have to really choose. I can skip.
If you had to choose.
If I had to choose, I would choose laundry because the washing machine does it.
Dr. Sampalis?
Laundry.
Laundry.
Okay. Dr. Lee?
I would choose laundry too.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would choose dishes. It's a little more relaxing for me than folding clothes. I mean, of course, I can't fold clothes. That's my husband's job, period. I think that was from day one. I'll put them in the machine, but you're going to fold them. I can't do it. And if I do, I think I do such a bad job. He'd prefer to just take it from the laundry basket than, So yeah, okay, that's good to know. Again, is practice, like private practice or corporate?
Okay, let me do corporate practice for now. When you ask this question, after some time, I will do private practice.
Dr. Sampalis.
I like both. I like both.
No. It is this or that. What do you like a little more?
Depends on the day. It depends on the day. Depends on the patient.
Let's talk about today. What is your choice today?
Today, corporate's been pretty good to me. So corporate, yeah.
All right, Mian, what about you?
I like private for the moment.
Mm-hmm. Dr. D.
Yeah, this is a hard one. I would say private. Right now.
Awesome. All right. So I would say corporate because I'm working in corporate. So that's my stand. All right. Riz again, glasses or contacts?
Glasses.
All right. Dr. Sampalis.
Context.
All right, Mian.
Contacts.
Dr. Lee.
Contacts.
All right, wonderful. I would say it depends again on the day, but I would go glasses too. All right. Next one. Online shopping or shopping in store? Forget
Online
about the
shopping.
COVID part of it. Online.
Online shopping.
Online shopping.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Online shopping.
Online too.
Oh my God, I'm feeling so weird. I like to just walk around in the store. I'm more of an in-store shopping person. My husband like, okay, this is your favorite. I walk around as if I'm walking in an amusement park. He like, stop doing that. Just, check things online. All right. Next question. Oceans or mountains?
Oceans.
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 Wonderful.
Ocean.
All right.
Ocean too.
Oh, me too.
Wow.
All right. Okay, we have a full house here. Okay, awesome. Again, the next question, horror movie or comedy?
Comedy.
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 Comedy. All right. This is again a house.
In the world already.
Okay. Most important thing in your partner, intelligent or funny?
Funny.
Funny.
Intelligent.
Funny.
Funny as well.
So I'm
All
the
right.
outcast now.
All right. The last question, movie or like series or reading? Riz.
Me? Again, it depends on the mood totally.
Today.
So today I'm in the movie mood.
Movie.
Yeah, it's really depend on the day, but yes, it's movie today.
Movie.
I thought I would be the only one choosing movie when I wrote this question. I'm like, okay, I'm the only person who constantly watch series or movies. But I'm happy to see, you all also have chosen that. So with that, we did finish this or that game. Good job, everyone. We had consensus at least on two things. We know what's common. We'll definitely go to the oceans and meet somewhere on that location. I think that should be our next trip. With that, before I end this episode, I would like to ask each one of you for your final takeaway message as we end this episode. So we'll start with Dr. Lee. What is your final takeaway message for all the listeners?
Well, I want to say thank you because this was so fun talking to these women, talking to all of you. And as I said, it felt like a therapy session. But, what I would say is don't be afraid to put your goals out in the universe and put them out there to be heard, because people want to lift you up. So people want to help you. So put it out there, go for it. Don't be afraid of failure, and be brave around experiences. So try to gain those new experiences, even though it means being uncomfortable.
I really love that. Mian, tell me about your final takeaway message.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your invitation, as well as giving me the opportunity to sit with these lovely people right here, lovely women right here. So I think my take-home message will be simple: just be yourself, be confident, and you can do it.
Love that. Dr. Sampalis.
It's an honor to be here today among these women. They're global leaders. So thank you for having me. It's always nice and humbled to be on these things. But I just tell females like, hey, just if you want to do it, you go out and do it. Be persistent, be determined, and don't take no for an answer.
Oh, wonderful. Riz, what is your takeaway message?
First of all, thank you, Thi, for putting this together. And as I would agree with Dr. Lee, this is like very, very such a therapy session just to listen to everybody. And there's so much motivation that each one of us has gained at this moment. I think there's so much inspiration that we can draw from all our stories. And so I'm gonna sort of, now that all of us love oceans, I think my message is from the poem by Khalil Gibran, The River Cannot Go Back. So at every point of the journey in my life where I felt, I think I'm done with it. I'm not going to move any further. So every time when I sort of felt so freaked out, I would look at this poem. So the poem goes like this. It said that before entering the sea, the river trembles with fear. She looks at the path she's traveled from the peaks of the mountains. And I would go to the end. I mean, because we can just sort of go back and read the poem. The end says that the river needs to take the risk of entering the ocean, because only then will fear disappear. Because that's where the river will know it's not about disappearing into the ocean, but of becoming the ocean. So basically, I think we are here for a reason. We are here for a cause to inspire others. There are many other women that are just waiting to become part of us, looking at us for inspiration. So let's hold our fears and let's sort of also embrace these fears and take the next step forward and keep moving forward. That's all I have to say.
That's wonderful. And yes, it has been therapeutic. It has been inspiring. I do struggle in my own ways, but every time I talk to all of you, it has been such an amazing discussion. Thank you, all of you, for your time, for sharing your journeys, for inspiring everyone. And, especially on the International Women's Day, I would like to wish everyone out there, do your best. And we are all here to help. We are all struggling, men or women, irrespective of the gender. Please don't see what we put up on the social media. Trust me, we all struggle. With that, I would like to again thank my supporters or the sponsors for this episode, Ailey and Nano Dropper, for supporting this episode. And thank you, all of you, for being such an amazing guest on this podcast. And now welcome again to the Nerdy Optometry family. I can now proudly say you all are nerds. And thank you for making it such a cool thing. And for good morning to those who are in US, good evening, good night to all the other leaders who are there globally. Thank you once again for your time. Really appreciate it.